Do you want to generate more likes and comments for your Instagram photos simply by writing amazing captions? Keep on watching. I'm going to share with you my 5 tips for writing engaging captions for Instagram. Hey, my name is Katie Steckly, and here on my channel I love to talk all things YouTube, Instagram, filmmaking, and freelance. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss my future videos. I upload 3 new videos a week. Captions are such an important part of Instagram. It honestly surprises me how many people are still sleeping on this. Instagram is so much more than pretty pictures. I think actually captions are a great opportunity for so many creators to add extra value, and people are not even seeing it. Here's the thing. I am not the most amazing photographer on the planet, and chances are maybe you aren't either. It's very, very hard to stand out on Instagram with photos alone, especially if you are the one taking them and not the one in them. So instead of trying to compete on the plane of just how amazing can your photos be, think about trying to add value with your captions. This is something that I think is a lot more accessible for most people, and depending on the niche that you're in, you might actually be able to add more value to people through writing than just through images. Ever since I started implementing these 5 strategies I'm about to share, my engagement has grown a ton. For reference, now I have about 3.6K followers, and I get anywhere from like 100 to 200 comments on an image and somewhere between 300 to 700 likes, which is an engagement rate that I am very happy with. Most importantly, I get to have really awesome conversations in the comments of my photos because people are inspired to give me feedback on whatever I've said in the caption. So if you're looking for that kind of interaction and engagement, keep on watching. Here are the 5 steps to writing a killer Instagram caption. Step 1, come up with a topic. This could be something that you've been thinking about for a while. Normally, this is like an idea or a conversation that's just been on my heart lately that I want to share with people. But depending on your niche, it could also be a how-to. Maybe it's something that's been in the news lately. Maybe it's a destination or a restaurant that you want to share. Whatever it is, come up with a topic that you're going to write about. You just want to make sure that your caption actually has a purpose and a focus. So this is really bringing out my English major, but you maybe want to come up with a thesis for your caption. At least have an idea of what the reason behind it is. Number 2, write a headline. Now I know that Instagram captions don't technically have a headline, but if you're scrolling through, you will notice that any caption over like 2 or 3 lines long is gonna have a little see more button. What you wanna focus on writing first is the part that is going to show up before see more. Now I know it might sound kind of counterintuitive to write your headline before you write the body of your caption, but the reason why I do this is because I want to make sure that any caption I write is gonna have a super engaging and captivating hook at the beginning, because if it's not there, unfortunately, people just aren't gonna read the rest. So you can spend all this time writing a beautiful long story in your caption, but if the first 3 lines aren't interesting enough to get people to click see more, no one's ever gonna read it. So once I have a topic in mind, I try to think about captivating or interesting ways that I can hook people into what I want to talk about. For instance, on my most recent post, I wrote, "There are so many dishonest people online, and I'm trying hard every day not to become one of them." I think that's pretty interesting, right? People read that and they're like, dishonest people? How is she gonna become one of them? You know, it prompts the reader to ask some questions and makes them want to keep on reading. Another example would be, "I want it to seem like I've got my shit together, but honestly, I'm overwhelmed as heck these days." Again, maybe enticing. Maybe you want to know more about that. These are all examples of hook lines to really like bring people in to the rest of your captions. So some people might claim that this is kind of like clickbaity, but I honestly don't think that it's clickbait as long as you deliver on what you're promising in your headline or the first couple lines of your caption. This is just basic writing, you know what I mean? You want the beginning of your thing to be very interesting to prompt people to keep on reading more. I would encourage you to spend most of your time coming up with this headline, because this is gonna be the most important part of whether or not people read the rest of your caption. Once you've got that figured out, it's time for number 3, and that is writing the body of your caption and making sure to add lots of line breaks. Honestly, I wouldn't be too afraid to make this as long as it needs to be for you to get your point across. I mean, don't write like 12,000 words or anything like that, but I think like 250 to 500 words is suitable. Like, it's gonna look pretty long, but if people are really engaged with what you're talking about, they'll keep reading it. But it's really important that when you have that many words, you're breaking it up with spaces. If you wanna know how to add spaces to your Instagram captions, go check out this video that I made about it. It's a really straightforward process and it'll work every time, so go check that out. But I would encourage you to write no more than like 2 or 3 sentences before adding a new paragraph break, because that'll just make it look a little bit easier to read when someone is first skimming through it. If you have a long block of text, that is just basically a big flashing sign that says skip over me, because people see that and they feel overwhelmed by the amount of text they're gonna have to read through, so they just don't want to bother. Step number 4 is to read through your caption and make sure that throughout the entire thing you're writing the same way that you would talk to a friend. Your followers on Instagram feel like they know you personally and you are friends with them, right? You're engaging with them, you're DMing them, commenting back and forth to them. So make sure that you're not writing as if you're writing an essay or a school paper. Write it like you would actually speak to a friend about it. This is something that I find pretty easy because a lot of the stuff that I write about is stuff that I would talk to a friend about. You know, I talk to my friends about, oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or oh, I don't want to fall into this trap of being like a dishonest creator. These are the kinds of things that I talk to people about, so that when I go to write it, it feels very natural to do that. So just kind of read it through and make sure that your tone feels like you and isn't overly formal. Finally, step number 5 is to leave them with a call to action. For the people who read all the way to the bottom of your post, you want to leave them with some inspiration to comment to you. Chances are there are people that are going to leave a comment even just from reading halfway through, because they'll find something that they relate to and want to speak to. But if people get to the bottom of your caption, you don't want them to just keep on scrolling. You want them to leave you a comment, or at the very least a like. So I like to end every caption with a question, asking someone's opinion, or saying like, what do you think about this? Like, let's talk about it in the comments. And that seems to do really well for getting people to share their thoughts and respond. I think the call to action is sort of like a superficial tag on the end, because really, if you write something that is thought-provoking and engaging, people will probably respond to it whether or not you have that little question at the end. But for some people who kind of feel like, oh, like, should I say it or not? Leaving a question at the bottom is going to be that final push to say, yeah, leave me a comment. I want to know what you think. So don't be afraid to do that. Pretty much end any caption with that, and you'll find that that will increase your engagement for people who weren't really sure if they should leave a comment or not. So those are my tips for writing engaging Instagram captions. Like I said, I think this is probably the most important part of an Instagram post for most people, but if you do want to improve your Instagram photos, check out this video I made about how to take good photos for Instagram with just your iPhone. But before you go, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Like I said, I'm posting 3 new videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss them. As always, I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!